Hi, everyone, and welcome to our next XOAP live session, this year number 8, once again with our lovely CTO, Sinisha. Hello.
Oh my God. Thank you very much. How are you doing?
Not bad, thank you. A few organizational things from the beginning. As everybody know, once again, we have a Friday noon session, which is open for discussion to talk everything about hybrid IT automation and technologies of multi-cloud delivery and so on. And you can find the link to this event on our website. So register, join the event, and talk with our engineers about automation and multi-cloud stuff. This session will be recorded as usual and afterwards uploaded to the YouTube channel. So ring the bell and follow our channel. But back to the business. The topic today is what's new in our universe, product updates, new features, and so on. And maybe, Sinisha, we can start with a short wrap up from the March release. To go through to talk about, we talked about new builder options for Azure, dynamic regions, and so on, and then go through the new features through the modules.
Oh, now you're killing me. I wasn't prepared for that. So we added so many different things, so I have to think about what was in March. But okay, so first of all, I did today something radically. I switched to light theme and aligned my code into this. So just to do something very different. Okay, so what did we do in the last sprint? So maybe let's have a look at tags, resources, parameters again. So yeah, just a short wrap up. We added tags. Tags can be added here, given different descriptions and colors, and you are able to assign those tags through the platform. What else did we do? We centralized resources. So we moved it away from configuration management and also soon from image management. So you can upload all the resources that you need to a central location. That's, first of all, a very, very important step because we needed it for platform management for the scripted actions. So here is actually the point. We will get to that later. Where you upload all the scripts and everything you need, but that's also the location where you put in everything you need for image management, licenses, pictures, FS logics, rule sets, whatever you can think of. So that's the thing. What you can also do here is based, depending on the type of resource you upload, you also have like a code editor, so you can maximize that, change scripts that you already uploaded, save them, so that you don't have to upload it, do it locally, upload that over again. So that's one of the nice features we added here as well. And the last thing we added is the parameters area. So here you are now able to add also centrally for all the other modules different types of parameters. So for example, text, numbers, Boolean things, so everything you might think of depending on the use case. So for example, for scripted actions, you could define here maybe something like a resource group you want to use always. So you can define here a parameter and then use that in scripted actions. That's it for this part. Small other thing maybe related to general things we changed. So the plus button moved from left to right. So we streamlined a little bit the UI here to make it easier to follow things and also to identify actually where you are. We added those breadcrumbs through all the modules. So that's just a few minor things here.
And the parameters, central parameter thing is also interesting, as you mentioned, Sinisha, which is, I think, very important to the community, is you show there's a password area. That means I can encrypt also the passwords and reuse it through the modules, which is very interesting for scripting and reusability in different configuration parts, of course.
Yes, and you're also not able to see it. So if you edit it, you can change it, save it, but you're actually, we're saving it also in a vault in the backend, so dedicated for every workspace we create. So that's something where we also have an eye on to make it as secure as possible.
Yeah, pretty cool. So this is the general thing. Yeah, let's move on maybe to image management. I know the big topic marketplace is something interesting. Maybe we can start with it.
It's all about choices, right? We said we would do it. So if you now go to operating systems, and must say this is our development environment currently, so this will be available around about 2 weeks when we release it to production. You now have the choice of, I would say, hundreds of thousands base images you can use. So actually, that's a one-time action you have to do if you want to create an operating system as a base, and then going forward to adjust it to your own needs. So you select a provider, you select the region, and we added a lot of regions. So everything you see here now for Azure or AWS is dynamically added to the platform. So we are looking every now and then and see if there are new data center locations for the cloud providers we support. And then this list is added dynamically, so you can search for your region. And based on this region, we will then get into the details of this region, check which platforms are available, and give you further access to more details here. And you can now see here in this example, Azure, Europe, Germany, West Central. We now have 2 possibilities to choose for a platform. I will do this now for Windows. This will now take some time here because our actually our database and our dev environment is not that largely sized. So it's a little bit slower than the production. But if you now get here to the point, we can see we have 11,165 operating systems we can choose from for Windows. And if you switch to Linux, you have around about 41,000 images. So a lot of choice. And depending on what you choose, you can then go deeper, select the hypervisor version, and then actually, if it's still too much for you, we have this advanced filter that we introduced a few weeks ago. So you can go through the filter, search more specifically for the operating system that you want to add. And the last step is then just choosing something, saving it, and then you got it here in the list. So I think that's a huge step forward in giving our customers more choices when it comes to choosing the base image from which then to move on forward to a more customized image.
Okay, so that means we have the image build process, which is fully automated. Now we can customize it with available marketplace images and
Correct.
extend it with our provisioners, applications, configurations, and so on.
Yep.
And the nice thing definitely for the community is also that every deployment run, every image receive a new version number. So it's totally enterprise proven. So, and we have a great automation process over there.
Yeah.
So,
I would say let's move to the next step because you are already looking forward to it, right?
Yes,
so
yes, I
builder
am.
configuration was also limited in the past to a few instance sizes that we had here. Now, again, if I choose, for example, Azure managed as the type I want to choose, I have to choose a connection. So that's my connection to the cloud provider, Azure, AWS, or whatever. So if I created a connection here in the connections area, I can simply choose it. And again, go through the available regions that are out there. And if you now look at this list, I'll scroll a little bit. So that are all the instance sizes that are available in Germany West Central to use for image builds. So I wouldn't suggest using such hardcore machines like this instance types, but you are totally free of choosing them for the build process and get your images up and running in the subscription and region of your choice.
Sorry, I was muted. That's very nice. That's amazing. So I have a lot of flexibility and can build everything over there I need. So we are running out of time maybe. Yeah, then. So let's look in your overview. I see a new menu point which is called platform management, which is pretty nice. Maybe we can switch over to that, and
we will. Okay.
What we can do over there.
We will just make a small teaser, but I will start not with the platform management here in XOAP. I will switch over to our GitHub account, and here in the upper left corner you see now a repository called scripted actions. So that is actually the location where we add examples and things you can run with scripted actions very soon. And you can see here things like AWS CLI, AWS Partial, Azure CLI, Azure Partial. We will support Bicep and ARM deployments also in the future. So here you can already have a sneak peek at what's actually possible with scripted actions. And if I now switch maybe to the code editor to dive a little bit deeper, just to give you an idea how this is actually working. So we have scripts where we define parameters. We have something like standard settings that we already put here to help customers getting an idea what can be added to those parameters. So things like validate set to enable drop downs automatically based on the options you put in here in the scripts. And here, for example, that's an example how to create an Azure resource group. So actually, it's a small PowerShell script with some parameters, and also in the second step, the creation of a new Azure VM in this resource group. So there are small examples that you can expect where you can have a look at. And how does this work? If you go to scripted actions, and that's, I say, there a lot of things are still here ongoing and will be added soon, but that's the first thing I can show you. So you can add a new scripted action based on those scripts. So you can upload those scripts to your resources area. And if we just choose, I don't know, maybe we want to start in AWS, an instance with the AWS CLI, then I just create a description for that, start instance. I can give it a tag if I want. And the next thing I have to do, and that's a very simple example because it only has one parameter that you have to put in, is you now type in the instance ID that you want to start. And this is typically something like, looks something like this.
And if we have more parameters, they will be available over here, and you have to fill it
totally
out, select
automatically. Yes, the more parameter we are getting, the parameters dynamically from the scripts, showing them here, making this available so that you have the chance. And that's specifically something where we are targeting like those smaller to mid-sized companies, starting with automation things, not wanting to go the full path with Terraform, Pulumi, or whatever, just to get them into the right direction, to have something where they don't have to take care about deployment pipelines, repositories, or whatever, just to get a quick start into the first automation steps. That's the thing what we are targeting. And the next thing is you choose the connection where you want to run that PowerShell script against. So you have maybe seen that there are no connection parameters, any secrets in those scripts. We are taking care of that transparently in the backend. So you just choose the connection you created here, go to finished, and then you have the scripted action. And the next step is then click on run, let it do whatever it should do.
Yeah, very nice. And as you mentioned, they're taking care of repositories, pipelines, and so on. But I'm looking also in the direction of organizational stuff, naming convention, versioning, documentation, rollback, etc. That's very important to handle also, not only to create this automation, but also how the operational stuff works afterwards.
Yeah, that's a perfect example for those central areas here where you can define it, yes.
Yeah, cool. Sinisha, that's a nice teaser. Yeah. When do you think we can expect it? In my 2 weeks, 3 weeks in our workspaces?
Yeah, the deployment is targeted somewhere around the second week of May.
Great. Sounds amazing. So to the community, yeah, register right now to your XOAP workspace, create your trial, and you will be able to access platform management and scripted action through your workspace in your trial and also afterwards. Cool. Something to highlight from your side, Sinisha?
Scripted actions will be very soon. Is actually the missing piece we had all the time between image management and configuration management. So you are now able to make the first step into infrastructure automation with PowerShell. So it's something that most of the IT infrastructure guys should be capable of. In the future, we already have in the roadmap things like dependencies, so that you have dependencies between scripted actions. So you create an account, create a resource group, then create subnets, spin up a virtual machine. So that is something that will for sure come also very, very soon.
Pretty cool. So what we have learned, yeah, scripted actions will be available soon. Yeah, follow our GitHub and give us a star to receive all the updates and informations. Check out our documentation, our blog for all the content we are showing right now. Follow our YouTube channel. And yeah, that's also from my side. Thank you for the update, Sinisha. Very interesting, nice progress. And to you guys, have a nice and successful week and see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.